I swear, there are marriages and soap operas that did not last as long as this game. And the 2017 regular season is over. 162 games. The Nats win 97. It's the second, or the tied for the second best record in team history. I'm Ron Chuckett. It's now 7:30 Eastern Time on this first day of October, and the entire 2017 Major League regular season is history because this was the last game. The Nats lose this one. Who cares? I think it's 11-8. We should go through some totals, though, because I'm contractually required to do that. The Pirates will finish the year at 75-87. They scored 11 runs, 14 hits, and 2 errors. The Nationals finished the year at 97-65, and with the National League Eastern Division title. 8 runs, 16 hits today, and no errors. They did get an awful lot of hits. It was a bullpen effort all the way around. Trey Turner, 2 for 5. He left 6 on. I'm surprised at that. He went 2 for 5. Bryce Harper with some hard hit balls today. One traveled 114 miles an hour, 2 for 4. That really was big for him. Rendon with a 3-run home run in the first, now has his first 100 RBI season with that. Daniel hits Murphy, 2 for 3 today. Ryan Zimmerman everyone got a standing ovation, and the only starters to play the entire game were Taylor and Turner. So, lots of extra base hits. 4 doubles, Turner, Worth, Sanchez, and Kendrick, and 2 home runs. Rendon is 25th, and Taylor is 19th. Rendon now has, as I said, 100 RBI on the year. Gio Gonzalez takes the loss. That seems like that was 9 years ago. 4 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned. He walked 3 and struck out 2. It was not a good start for him. But they haven't had anything to play for in about 3 weeks, and so it's just tough to keep that mentality going. Joe Blanton goes 2/3 of an inning. That was clean. Tanner Roark with a relief effort he doesn't want to remember. An inning, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 1 and struck out 2. Austin Adams doing Austin Adams things. He walked 2 and struck out 3. No one made contact in that entire at-bat. He faced 5 in that inning. He faced 5 batters. Ali Perez might have pitched himself off the playoff roster. At 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He walked 1 and struck out 1. And Matt Albers, the new Mac Daddy, an inning and a third, he struck out 2 and gave up a hit. 35,652 watched the longest 9-inning game in Nationals and Pirates history, 4 hours and 22 minutes. And the rest of the stats don't matter, and no one is watching this video anyway. How about that? Or at least live anyway. So, while we see if anyone actually tunes in to watch, let's give you some finals. We'll just give all the scores today. Houston beat the Red Sox 4-3. They will meet Thursday in Houston at a time to be determined. Terry Collins is out as the manager of the Mets. He resigned today. Phillies beat them 11-0. Oakland beat Texas today. Aldi's their final, 5-2. San Francisco wins on a walk-off homer by Pablo Sandoval. They beat the Padres 5-4. Yes, it's okay. 5-4. By that, they lost the first pick in the draft because we'll get to that in a minute. Toronto beat the Yankees 2-1. Angels beat Seattle 6-2. Atlanta over Miami 8-5. Stanton did not get number 60. He struck out in his last at-bat. Did hit a single today that left the bat at 114 miles an hour. Tampa shuts out Baltimore 6-0. Cleveland over the White Sox 3-1. Cleveland will host the wild card winner of the American League on Thursday. Hawk Harrelson has announced his retirement as manager of the as broadcaster of the Chicago White Sox, or he gone. Bartolo Colon and the Minnesota Twins beat the Tigers today 5-1. Ian Kinsler managed the Tigers today. No, I'm not kidding. And because the Tigers lost, they get the number 1 pick in next year's draft. The Dodgers beat the Rockies today 6-3. Colorado's next game is Wednesday in Phoenix against the Diamondbacks in a bittersweet game. And actually, it was a very melancholy game in Kansas City. The Diamondbacks won 14-2, and what is the last game of the core for those Royals teams from a few years ago was they all hit free agency. Milwaukee ends the year on a positive note. They beat the Cardinals 6-1, and the Reds beat the Cubs 3-1. Jake Arrieta will not be the Game 1 starter for the Cubs. It'll be Kyle Hendricks in Game 1 and John Lester in Game 2. John Lackey probably will work from the bullpen if Arrieta, well, he'll work the bullpen in the series. He might actually get a start depending on what happens with Arrieta. And so that's the final scoreboard of the year. The next scheduled game will be Tuesday. It will be the American League wildcard game, the Twins and the Yankees from the Bronx. And then Wednesday, the National League wildcard game, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks from Arizona. And so Thursday's American League Series doubleheader will be the Red Sox and the Astros from Houston and the Yankees-Twins winner at Cleveland. On Friday, everyone plays, but we know that it'll be the Cubs and Nationals from Washington, followed by the National League wildcard and the Dodgers from Los Angeles. No times have been announced yet. Let's see. Judo says, I was expecting Ryan Zimmerman and Jay Wood to come out and give us South Park style. Y'all learned something today, speech after that 4.5-hour comedy. God. There's some good things to take from this one. I know that a lot of people are kind of impatient at the end of it, at the end of the season. And, if you're wondering what Gio Gonzalez shows up for the playoffs, your guess is as good as mine. But Bryce Harper's bat looked the best that I've seen since he's come back. He really roped some balls today. Trey Turner is just gunning to play. And again, just like everything else with this team, once this offense is fully assembled, they can score and score at will. They scored 819 runs this year or something like that, which is, as I said on Twitter, a lot of reduced price chicken nuggets and pizza, which hopefully your gym is close by and you can go work some of that stuff off. There's actually one relevant stat Gio says that I think is worth mentioning, and he's right. Gio managed just barely, only because Joe Blanton induced a double play to get out of the inning to end the season with below a 3.00 ERA this year. Yeah, it jumped from like 260 to 294 in the first inning. But still, I think it's a case of, look, we've been in West Palm Beach mode for 3 weeks. And I think after a while, you can only play so much of that. And Dusty did a good job trying to make sure that players got the kudos from the crowd that they deserved and did at least try to win the ballgame. The runners in scoring position stat, I'm not going to look, but it's not good. And if there is something that you should be concerned about heading into the playoffs, it is that they have to move the line along. And so if Jay Lewis is watching, say, I was critical of the team. But beyond that, it's been, we've talked about this before. I think it was Seth that mentioned in one of the last shows that I did that this is like watching preseason football. It doesn't mean anything. You're just waiting for the season to come around. And today and this weekend really felt like that fourth game, the one that I was playing the Thursday night, and everyone has 10 days off, and your starters go about 2 snaps. That's what this week felt like. Judo continues. That means the Nationals are the first team since the 1998 Braves to have a trio of 15-plus wins and sub-3 ERAs. That's amazing. All 3 of those Braves are Hall of Famers. You are talking about Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, and John Smoltz. What do I win? I answered the trivia question. What do I win, Ricky? What do I win? I win a free... Shut up? Okay. Judo says, just goes to show how good and, to be honest, and underrated, to be honest, and that how Yeah, it's been a long day. How good the Nats rotation is. I would agree with that. I'm really not overly worried about what happens against the Cubs with the starting pitchers, as long as everyone can stay healthy. Uh, at this point, Gio is not going to pitch for a week. Roark isn't going to pitch for 8 days. Max Scherzer had an MRI today, and that went well. I guess there's some sort of, I don't want to guess hamstring strain, because cramp is kind of a weird word to use. I did not see it till this morning, but if you did not watch last night, basically Daniel Murphy yanked him Scherzer out of the game. He threw a pitch and then kind of bunny hopped after the pitch. He just kind of landed wrong and then caught himself, and then that was it. Murphy went over and said, you're done. And Scherzer kind of protested. And if it was a playoff game, he probably would have pitched, and then we would have kind of agonized for 2 or 3 innings about what his speeds were and all that. But it was a meaningless game, and so he got yanked. But you don't just go in for preliminary MRIs. Those cost tens of thousands of dollars, even to the Washington Nationals. And so the good news is that there's nothing worrisome about that, but it does scare you. And that's the one position that the Nats could not afford to lose anybody going into the playoffs. You really don't want Edwin Jackson and A.J. Cole to be making playoff starts. Judo says, the Pirates are one of the few teams that the Nats have a losing record to. I think the only teams they do are not in the playoffs, ironically. No, they did very well against playoff teams this year. In fact, I believe all the teams they could potentially play in the National League, they have a winning record on the road. They took 2 out of 3 at Wrigley. They took 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium. They took 3 out of 4 in Colorado, and I believe they took 2 out of 3 in Arizona. I mean, you can't do much better than that. That really is phenomenal baseball. And the Nats have done it all year. They won 97. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at by any stretch of the imagination. This is a deep and solid team, and they have many, many ways to beat you. Judo says, I said this because he was hoping this game would go on until Friday. I also just want to say that I'm disappointed Ron's wife didn't get to live tweet. She's actually having to work tonight. But trust me, if we were still here till Friday, we're getting into telethon territory here, and God knows what I would have said. But bad enough as it is, we took 4 hours and 22 minutes to play a game that meant not a blessed thing. Win or lose, it didn't mean much. No one else got hurt, and that's the key thing. So, I don't know, is anyone going to say, Judo, if you got any other last words before we close down this part of it? We're not going to get Cubby's Crib, unfortunately, but Ricky will have someone from the Sporting News on, I believe it's tomorrow night, to talk about the Nats-Cub series. And then the 3 of us will be with you, I think it's Thursday night. We'll tear Ricky away from the Patriots-Buccaneers game. 2-2, really? 2-2? The Patriots are 2-2. To get you all caught up about that, we're going to have a very, very busy week on the website. We will have, 5 reasons why I think the Nats will lose the series, 5 reasons why I think the Nats will win the series. Ricky will break down the series with an impressive tale of the tape. If you've been a regular reader of the site, then you know what he did last year during the playoffs, and it's a very impressive piece. No one will break it down quite like he does. It really is worth reading, along with predictions from the staff. Actually, I have to turn in my ballot, Judo, for that. I didn't vote for Max. I voted for Strasburg for my Cy Young and Kluber. Take a look at Kluber's numbers if you get the chance. They're just impressive. He said, I've got Max and Sale for the Cy Young. If Max wins, it's not going to break my heart for sure. So watch out for us this week. I think I just told you what we're all doing till Friday. If you listen I'm not sure if it is on the delay. So we'll have multiple slideshows every day, or slideshows going up every day, along with whatever happens to be breaking news, whatever we expect to have some news on Dusty Baker, whatever decisions come on the 25 that are on the roster. You could see Stephen Drew and Brian Goodwin on the 25-man roster, even though they never actually made it back to play in a regular season game. after their long injury. So there's plenty of stuff to go around. And we will have as many of us as possible on for the DoDCast after games, along with takeaways after every playoff game and the storylines heading into every playoff game, like we have done for every series of the year and whatever else happens. So you will be completely covered on the website, districtondeck.com. Is where you should be. We will have fresh content for you 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a day, depending on what's going on. As we said, we will have 2 DoDcasts before the National League Divisional Series start. Ricky Keeler will have a guest from the Sporting News to talk the Cubs. I believe that's tomorrow night. And then the 3 of us will have the preview Thursday, the night before the playoffs begin, to break down what we think is going to happen. So all in all, just keep it on the website. We'll have stuff for you, and you will definitely see all of us. And we might, depending on what else happens over the course of the week, do more than the 2 shows. But for now, that's the plan, along with a live DoDcast after every postseason game that the Nats are in. And you're right, Judo. To have 3 pitchers in the Cy Young talks is very incredible. They just had a tremendous year. So, when we run today, I wrote a piece on the Scherzer scare, which was graciously retweeted by Peter Kamens, of all people. What an impressive day that has been. And I talked a little bit about Harper and his expectations going into the playoffs. And I think a good thing about Harper was he's certainly on that double that he scored from first. He didn't look like his legs were hampered in any way. And the bat speed looked very good today. There was a long at bat where he struck out, but he got to swing and tick off a lot of pitches. And that's exactly what you want to see from him. So most of the stuff was good today. If you want to be concerned with Gio, you certainly have the right to be. I wouldn't be. I just think that there's only so long you can sit here and be prepared for games that really don't mean much of anything. Judo says, Scherzer scare sounds like some sort of pre-World War II Weimar Republic scandal. It does, doesn't it? Are you tested for that? And so things that, just kind of keep an eye out for these things once the series begins against the Cubs. Will Jake Arrieta be able to pitch at all? That'll be a big plus for the Nats. When the Nats do have runners on base, can they score runs? I mean, this team, once they start to score runs, can score them by the bucket. And they're going to need to do that again. Everyone's going to, how will Bryce Harper build on this last game? Now he sits for 4 days, which is not what you want to do. He's trying to get that timing back, and now he's got to sit. How will the bullpen react with 4 days off? Of course, it's the same thing for the Cubs. But everyone sits for 4 days. I think for the starters, especially for Scherzer, I'm sure it's a great help. That's a tremendous advantage to be able to go not only on full rest, but, kind of on a relaxed basis. But teams that kind of sit for a while before playoff games tend to struggle early. The good news is the Cubs are in the same boat. Watch that, and whoever survives the Arizona Colorado game, because they'll only had the one off day before Game 1 in Los Angeles, while the Dodgers will have had 4. It could be a factor. Yeah, Bryce Harper had exit velocities of 111 and 114 today. I believe the 114 was on a flyout too. So absolutely what you want to see from Harper. I really think that's a very good sign. All right, anything else? I'll wait a second while we figure that out. Give this video a like and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook at District on Deck, Twitter at District on Deck, and of course DistrictOnDeck.com is where everything is. And so as this is the last regular season DoDcast for us, I really want to give a special shout out to Chris Lacey, who did a few shows with us, and good luck to his Diamondbacks as they go on the rest of the way. Drew Douglas, we will be seeing a lot more of in the future. And, of course, Ricky Keeler, my main man. I don't know what we would have done without you this year, bud. And so you will see all of us at some point over the course of the next week and as we go along with the playoffs. So the regular season ends at 10 minutes at 8 on a Sunday night. I'm Ron Juckett. For the rest of the staff of District on Deck, Ricky will talk to you Monday, and we will talk to you on Thursday. Good night.